Trinidad and Tobago. This is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, Marvel Road, 91.9. Every Wednesday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. I tell you, we are going to have a TRME time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Tune in to the best station, 91.9 FM Street Live, Port of Spain, Maribel.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919FM.com.
News from the Street 919FM.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, supermarket owners happy over lifting of the SOE but worried over crime. 5 murdered in 12-hour killing spree, and internationally flash floods in the Northwest Pacific. Flood emergency alert in effect. And now the news in detail. Supermarket owners are elated that the SOE and the curfew will be lifted from today. However, they worry over the escalating crime across the island. Government heads to Parliament today to revoke the state of emergency, and Rajiv Dipti, president of the Supermarket Association of Trinidad and Tobago, says that the freedom of movement, particularly heading into the busy Christmas season, is a positive development. However, crime must be addressed. Representatives of the association met on Tuesday with DCP MacDonald Jacob to discuss a Christmas anti-crime plan. High on the agenda was ensuring an increased police presence and the role of Defence Force in assisting law enforcement during the Christmas season. Dipti described the meeting with DCP Jacob as positive engagement. Out of that meeting, a number of points, including the granting of firearm users' licenses, were raised and recorded with DCP Jacob, promising to follow up on these matters within the first 2 weeks of December. As for the possibility of increased spread of the virus with heightened movement among the population, Dipti said the onus is on consumers. He pleads with consumers to follow COVID guidelines. Dipti also encouraged more people to become vaccinated against COVID-19 to help slow the spread of the virus and return to some level of normalcy. In other news, a woman was among 5 people murdered in separate incidents in Movar, Tunapuna and Valencia. The murders occurred between Monday evening and up to midday yesterday, hours before the state of emergency, which had implemented a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew on citizens, is lifted today. According to police, in the first incident around 6 p.m. on Monday, officers on patrol in St. Barb's reported hearing gunshots and went to Pelican Extension Movar. Upon checking, they found 2 injured men, Jabari Williams and Dennis Fleury. Officers learned that gunmen in a blue SUV opened fire on the 2. The men were taken by residents to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where Williams, 27, succumbed to his injuries. Fleury remains in critical condition. In the second incident, hours later, around 9:45 p.m., 1 man was killed and 2 others injured during a shooting at Upper First Trace, Mingot Road, Tunapuna. The victim was identified as Jaffe Randy Phillip, 42, of Bastia Trace, Maruga. Police said he, along with a 29-year-old man and a 38-year-old woman, both from Tunapuna, were liming at a house when 4 armed men came from a hilly area at the back of the house, armed with guns. The woman, along with Philip, who was her boyfriend, and a male relative, attempted to flee the scene as the men opened fire on them. The gunmen then escaped. Philip was shot in the head and died at the scene. The woman was shot in the right hand and her relative sustained a wound to the right shoulder. The two were taken to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Mount Hope, where they were treated and released. In the third incident at Celestin Trace Movar, Abigail Lewis and a PH taxi driver were murdered around 1 a.m. yesterday. Lewis, 33, a mother of three, was chopped to death and one of her arms was reportedly severed in the attack. The man, who remained unidentified up to yesterday, was also shot. Police said the man was the intended target and Lewis was merely in the wrong place at the wrong time. Lewis's sister, Cleo, yesterday said the man who was killed was a driver the family hired from time to time and was growing close to her sister, but she was told they were just friends. Meanwhile, police were also investigating the murder of Emmanuel Peters, who was shot dead by unknown gunmen around 11 a.m. yesterday in Valencia. Peters celebrated the birth of a baby in October. Investigations are continuing into all incidents. Internationally, over 1 foot of rain has pummeled the Pacific Northwest in 5 days, bringing rivers into major flood stages and flooding roads and neighborhoods. The rainfall has set records and has closed schools and forced rescue efforts. Here we have this ABC report telling us more.
Flash flood emergency in the Pacific Northwest. More than 8 inches of rain in just 48 hours, triggering rivers and then homes to flood. This family north of Seattle pleading for help on Facebook, climbing their furniture as water rages outside their home. And another family and their dog saved by a front-end loader.
The water just came in fast, way faster than we were expecting. So our house is in about 4 feet of water.
A baby airlifted from the flood with 4 children and 6 adults plucked out of the flood by the Coast Guard. First responders say at least 500 people in that county alone displaced from their homes. Winds gusting to 82 miles per hour, nearly knocking this 18-wheeler off a 180-foot bridge. Luckily, the guardrail holding and the driver was able to escape. Parts of Interstate 5 shut down due to flooding and fear of mudslides. And just across the Canadian border, hundreds of people, including 50 children, had to be rescued after 2 mudslides left them trapped on a highway between 2 debris fields.
News from the street. 919fm.com.